The day began like countless others in the peaceful streets of Maplewood, yet an unshakable tension lingered in the air, as though foreshadowing a storm we couldn't avoid. I, Marissa Caldwell, had just settled my daughter Laya into her wheelchair after a night plagued by twitching limbs and trembling fingers. Her clear hazel eyes roamed the room with that familiar blend of innocence and fierce resolve, a look that always made the bitterness I carried toward our neighbors seem trivial. Still, deep inside, I couldn't ignore the truth that our home had turned our home into a battlefield over time, largely because of Evelyn Harper, the HOA president, whose icy grin concealed an obsession sharpened into cruelty, one she had aimed at Laya from the very day we arrived. Evelyn possessed a talent for dissecting people with a single glance, as if their mere presence offended her need for dominance. And as I guided Laya onto the porch, I could almost feel her eyes searing through the blinds, the sun catching on the polished handles of the wheelchair, while the soft buzz of the neighborhood morning wrapped around us. Yet beneath that facade of calm, a charge of tension pulsed like static in the air. It wasn't only the petty slights, the sharp remarks about our lawn, the anonymous late-night notices citing imagined violations, or her sudden appearances whenever we carried groceries inside. It was the satisfaction she seemed to draw from Laya's fragility, from the quiet resilience my daughter radiated in spite of her condition. Only yesterday, Evelyn had trapped Laya near the community pool, her voice dripping venom masked with politeness, and the terror shining in my daughter's eyes etched itself into my memory, a scar I knew would never fade. But today the weight felt different, heavier, as if Evelyn's schemes had shifted into something more sinister than the endless harassment we'd weathered for years. Though I whispered soothing words to ease Laya's worry, her small hand clutched mine tightly, her little body taut with unspoken dread, like a storm gathering strength. My thoughts spiraled through grim possibilities, dredging up every chilling tale I had ever learned about women like Evelyn, their schemes whispered behind closed doors, replaying in sharp detail in my mind. Yet nothing could have braced me for the crushing weight of dread that anchored in my chest when the HOA president's sleek black SUV crept down our street, pausing far too long before our home. Her unblinking stare locked on us. A chill rippled through me at the certainty that she was plotting, and with her, plans were never harmless. Laya, sensing the shift in me, offered a faint smile, the delicate curve of her mouth quivering as though she too sensed the charged air pressing down on us. In that moment, I realized this day would not unfold like the others. The fragile peace we had so carefully clung to for years was about to splinter in ways I couldn't yet grasp. The morning air grew heavy, time dragging painfully as Evelyn emerged from her vehicle, flawless in her trademark navy blazer, hair neatly set, her eyes concealed behind dark lenses that hid the spark of malice. She advanced toward us with the measured, deliberate stride of someone fully aware of the fear they upon us, with the unhurried steps of someone savoring the fear they were about to provoke. My pulse thundered, my throat tightening as I instinctively drew Laya nearer. The sharp snap of the wheelchair's brakes echoed far too loudly in the charged stillness. "Good morning, Marissa," Evelyn greeted, her words coated in honey yet lined with steel. "I see you're out enjoying the sunshine again. How fortunate." Then came the pause, a silence dense enough to choke as her stare flicked to Laya, and I felt the deliberate chill in her gaze, studying every fragile feature of my daughter's face, assessing, condemning, perhaps even scheming. I summoned a composure I didn't truly possess, forcing a polite smile while tightening my grip around Laya's hand. Inside, alarms blared that I dared not speak aloud. This encounter was no simple visit, no petty quarrel about lawns or boundary lines. A storm was gathering, one that would break over us in a place I had once thought untouchable, a storm that threatened to upend everything we held dear. When Evelyn tilted her head, her mouth curling into a smile devoid of warmth, I felt an icy certainty settle in me. Whatever she intended for Laya went beyond cruelty, into something unthinkable, and by the time the courtroom doors swung open later that day, my worst fears would not only unravel before our eyes, but under the gaze of everyone who had ever believed the law existed to shield the